Good evening, my ghouls and goblins, my freaks and geeks, as I welcome to tell you a tale filled with horror and bone-chilling fright. This, I tell you, the story of the werewolf by night. So if the intro couldn't tell you already in the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about the recent special Werewolf by Night. And this is a special review because, unless you're colorblind or something like this, or if you're actually blind, I'm sorry, this video is actually done in black and white. Ooh, lack of colors, how spooky. But today I'm going to be discussing Werewolf by Night. Now, Werewolf by Night released on October 7, 2022 on the streaming service Disney+. The film was directed by Michael Giacchino and starred Gael, Garcia, Bernal, Donnelly, and Harriet, Samson Harris. And the premise of this special presentation done by Marvel is that it showcases one night when a group of hunters are gathered together to compete to obtain this artifact known as the Bloodstone. And during this ritual hunt, it's discovered that one of these hunters is actually a monster themselves. Now, I haven't done many videos talking about the other projects that Marvel has released so far in 2022, like Ms. Marvel or She-Hulk or anything like that. I think those projects were really good. I had fun with them. But, I think personally so far, my favorite thing that has released so far from Phase 4, which is encompassing Black Widow from last year, all the way up to Wakanda Forever, which will be releasing in about another week or two at the time you're currently recording this. I think Werewolf by Night is probably my favorite just because of how distinct and different it is. And the first thing I want to go straight off the bat is I really commend them for the fact that they actually had the special be in black and white, because it's clear that this special is meant to emulate the classic Universal Studios monster movies of the 1930s and 40s. Obviously, of course, a clear line of inspiration was that of the original Wolfman, which, fun fact, is actually my favorite Universal monster movie because while the other monsters like Dracula and the Frankenstein monster and the Mummy, they've always been the way that they were, the Wolfman, you actually get to know the man before he becomes the monster, thus making his fate all the more tragic. And you can also tell the fact that through the special that Michael Giacchino is a huge fan of these classic Universal monster movies as well, because from the style to the shots to the set decorations, it very much has that feeling of trying to emulate the old classic ways, but still making it feel modern, if that makes sense. And I really do like the fact that it is very standalone in nature compared to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I very much commend them for that much. And I really thought the performances from everyone involved were really solid. I really liked Gael Garcia Bernal as the titular, as Jack Russell, who is the titular Werewolf by Night. I thought he did great. Donnelly, I thought she did great as Elsa Bloodstone. Her and Jack have very great chemistry with each other, and I really like the way they bounce off back and forth with each other. And not only that, but I also really love how surprisingly violent that this special can be. Like, even though it is a TV-14, like, there's still some pretty violent stuff in here, for, something of this, for this nature. And I also really got to give commemoration to the special effects too, because one, I really love the way that they were able to showcase Jack when he does eventually turn to his werewolf form, because it is Werewolf by Night, and it really wouldn't make sense if you ended up doing it and just not having the werewolf at all. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And I also love the one detail about how his transformation is shown off screen, and it's mainly shown, and you can just see the horror in Elsa's face as you can see him just transforming in the background. Like, his shirt is being ripped off, his nails are glowing longer, he's getting hairier, and he's becoming more bestial and animalistic in his noises. it was really effective. And also, there is another certain monster that was, that was very prominent in the Marvel landscape. I thought the way that they were able to bring to life the man thing was really well done. Although they call him Ted, for some reason, instead of actually calling him man thing. No idea why they didn't actually, have somebody offhandedly go oh my gosh, it's the man thing, or something like that. But and also, another thing I want to give credit to is the fact that Michael Giacchino is not only the director of this movie, but he also served as the composer for the movie as well. Kind of like how John Carpenter would often both direct and compose the score to his own movies. And what's really shocking is that this is only Michael Giacchino's third directing credit, but I think he did a phenomenal job with this because he's mainly known for being a composer. He's composed movies like The Incredibles all the way back in 2004. On the Marvel side of things, he's done the score to the original Doctor Strange back in 2016, the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, and most recently he did the score to Thor: Love and Thunder, which I thought, that's really cool, the fact that he has that really good relationship with Marvel. And so when they were figuring out developing a project with Werewolf by Night, and Michael Giacchino was like, hey, I actually have an idea that I would really like to do for this. And it's sure, why not? Plus, I also really like the little nods and Easter eggs here and there. For example, one of the murals in the opening, in the painting, you actually see a comic-accurate version of Gore the God Butcher being slain, which I think was really interesting and really cool, considering the fact that we literally just had Gore the God Butcher show up in Love and Thunder 3 or 4 months ago, which is pretty weird. Anyways, now that I've gotten into all the stuff that I loved about the special, I'm going to get into a few things that I didn't really like all that much. The other hunters, while fun, I felt like that they didn't really have much depth, or they didn't really have much, character, if that makes sense. They were, in my opinion, they were kind of seen more so as fodder, if that makes sense. The actors, I thought, they do good with the material they're given. In fact, I believe the Scottish hunter, who gets slain by the man thing, he's actually the same actor who played the punk that Spock ends up giving the Vulcan nerve pinch to in Star Trek IV, which is actually a role that he resumed in Spider-Man Homecoming, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then obviously, of course, there's the fact that the length of the special is only 52 minutes long. I actually wouldn't mind if they actually went for it being an actual hour or hour and a half long movie, because I think the fact that I think that there's enough material there that you could actually, make a pretty good full-length movie. And there's also the fact that, when Jack does transform into the werewolf, it's within the last 10 minutes of the special. So it's okay, maybe if you got hints here and there, him showing more wolf-like features, then eventually having him transform and become the wolf. Obviously, when you come to Werewolf by Night, you want to see the werewolf. And then only having it towards the end is kind of a bit of a bummer, but, that's just the way it is. But yeah, overall, I really dug Werewolf by Night. I thought it was a really interesting start to these Marvel special presentations. The next one is actually going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I'm very excited for because, I love the premise, the fact that it basically follows Drax and Gamora as they go to Earth to kidnap Kevin Bacon as a Christmas gift to Peter because he's still bummed about Gamora dying. That's a weird kind of premise that only somebody like James Gunn can come up with, and I love that. And I also really hope the fact that this marks the start of us getting yearly Halloween and holiday specials for Marvel projects. There are a lot of horror-related Marvel characters that I think they could do specials of. One of them is The Living Mummy, and another one is actually The Tomb of Dracula. Yeah, Dracula himself exists in the MCU. And granted, I know they're probably going to save him for whenever they do Blade, but I still think the fact that it would be a really cool idea to have all these standalone specials released yearly focusing on a different horror character from Marvel, and then just bringing them to life and other things like that. I really do think the fact that it could be really, really something amazing. But for what we have right now with just Werewolf by Night, I thought it was a really fun, good time. In fact, if there are those who are only fans of Marvel, I could totally see this being a good gateway into this greater realm of horror. In fact, They might end up discovering films and other people that they may not know that they would have loved otherwise. Like, maybe this might lead them down. Maybe the reason why they first found out about the YouTube channel Dead Meat was through the Werewolf by Night video, and it's like, this guy's content's actually pretty good. I actually want to go through more and see what else he does, and they'll find really well-made videos discussing the development of these horror-related projects, and also serving as comedic recaps of them, while also showcasing the many kills in the movie. I think the fact that it could be really cool, and it could be able to serve as a nice gateway into the wider realm of horror. But yeah, so that about concludes the first of my 2 specials that I have planned for Halloween, with the second being Halloween Ends. So look forward to that one whenever that ends up releasing in. Oh, that's odd. Hey, how did you get in? Hey, what are you doing? Hey,